All right. What's up, everybody? We've got a first-person view cast of Byun playing against MaxPax. It's a best-of-3 semi-final in the European Weekly Cup today. Byun is over at the Shopify headquarters, and despite Korea recently saying they're going to have to shut down Twitch streaming, we have gotten the first stream of Byun playing first-person view in years. It has been so long! And he's going to start out this best-of-3 semi-finals by sending an SCV across the map. It's a $400 tournament. The players are all over at the Shopify HQ practicing for Atlanta right now, which is coming up, I believe, this coming weekend. So only a few days till that one starts. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. And oh no, he gets scouted by a probe! Okay, this is a rough start. His SCV has been scouted by a probe. Funnily enough, though, I don't know if MaxPax realized because he didn't turn the probe around. And I would always follow that SCV. If I see an SCV, I go, he's going to build a barracks. Let's go kill him before he can build it. Now, he uses the engineering bay there to figure out where he wants to place the barracks, what the nice spot is up against the edge where it's hard to harass. He's going to go straight for a gas afterwards, and the SCV is going to be scouting this. So MaxPax knows what's going on, but no second probes come out. So if MaxPax went hunting for it with the second probe, he has not found that barracks. And I think Byun here has said, look, you probably think I'm going to divert off to the side and hide it. The last place you're going to check for that proxy barracks is right in front of your face. Not a bad way of doing it. Not a bad way of doing it. Probe being a little annoying there. He's going to attack it with an SCV. If you guys are a lower level player, just leave an SCV attacking it. If your SCV gets low, send it back to mining, send a new SCV. For Byun, though, you can see he's very happy to like rotate SCVs on and off to try to optimize this as much as possible. Barracks is going to finish. That Reaper starts at a minute 27. Good benchmark for yourselves, as that Reaper's meant to start at about a minute 26. SCV is going to go in forwards. Sees the Nexus goes down. That's Nexus after Cybercore, as it's already going down to the minute 35. It'd be down at about a minute 25, or a minute 20, 10 to 15 seconds earlier otherwise. Factory goes down. He misplaces that factory at first, but he does correct it. And notice he's hopping the SCV on and off the bunker because he wants that SCV to phase somewhere where it can't get hit. Finally, on the 4th attempt in a row, it actually goes into a good position. There's one of the few interactions that is actually random in StarCraft is where that SCV builds from. But he basically just kept re-rolling the SCV till it went to an inaccessible position. It is exposed now, but that's of course only after it got most of the build done. So good job there, man. That probe's still going to scout his base for a long time. And that tells you, you know, MaxPax, have you pulled off gas or not? And if you're staying on gas, you're doing a very committed build order. Oh, look at the way he uses the bunker, guys. So he uses the bunker load command, and then he load and left clicks on the SCV to basically pick it up. Because if you just right click on it, oh, he missed it. He missed the second load command though. So he's going to jump in the main to try to punish the Stalker being on the natural, but the second one comes out. It's kind of a rough start for Byun, guys. He's not really getting anything done. Now, the trick is he wants to just keep delaying mining on that base, but then he's going to have to... Oh, he lifted his barracks so late. Guys, this is looking really sloppy from Byun. I got to say, he's kind of throwing his buildings down randomly. He's misplacing things. The bunker SCV didn't get saved very long. Byun's usually known for keeping that SCV alive for a long time. To be fair, it was already heavily damaged, but still, I thought he'd be much more annoying with that. And he does have a reacted factory behind, but the probe sees everything. And the barracks being so slow to go home means he really doesn't have that many units. I guess he could build 2 Cyclones. Oh, he is going, yeah, it's 2 Cyclones. But of course, I mean, MaxPax will say, okay, you're playing a couple Cyclones. I mean, I would imagine as MaxPax, he's going to play 4-gate Blink. You might be thinking, well, why? Why would you play 4-gate Blink? Well, the reason is Cyclones suck versus Blink Stalkers in decent numbers. So that's going to not only keep you safe, but also, you know, the barracks took forever to float home. There aren't many Marines out. There aren't many great raw fighting units for Byun. So for me, I'm thinking of this, I'm like, okay, Byun, how do you deal with this? Yeah, immediately you want to start building siege tanks and Marines so you can be safe while continuing to pump SCVs. The problem is, he doesn't really have any pressure on the map. He's just got 2 Reapers out there that'll see when the Stalkers move towards him. He will want to scout for any quick third bases over the next 30 seconds to a minute. He's going to try to jump inside the main. Okay, so Byun's trying to jump up, but he sees, yeah. Okay, he sees there's a Stalker on the high ground. He's actually going to go for a 2 Cyclone drop. The Byun special. Tanks on the way as well as Marines. Problem is, I mean, okay, he forced his shield battery and Stalkers out early. If you force a Stalker out first, there is an argument here that this slows down Blink. Blink might not be done till 5 minutes or just after 5 minutes. But it's getting close. I mean, once Blink's done, this is such a risky maneuver. There's 3 Stalkers there, which should be enough to defend this. Oh, actually, okay, shield battery in the main is going to help those Stalkers survive. Oh, that one gets real low. If he can get a kill, that's great, but he doesn't want to really throw these units away. And as those 2 Stalkers come up, he has to get out. He's going to lose 1 Reaper. Not too bad, honestly. You know he's building a lot of Stalkers. You're going to get a bunker. You're going to try and build that semi-wall that stops Blink Stalker maneuverability. He's going to run home with the medevac. Problem is, of course, the second and third barracks are very delayed with this build. So this is going to be kind of awkward to pull off. Okay, I like that. So the Raven, unfortunately, he doesn't show us his control groups, which I do find a bit disappointing. It's really nice when pros let you see their control groups. I don't think it really gives much away. It just gives us a bit more insight into his mindset. So he's going to go Raven harass. I think he's just assuming there's no observer here. It's more important to go get some auto turret harass, something to punish the Protoss for being aggressive. He still doesn't know for sure if it's 4-gate blink or not. That tank, I don't like that tank positioning. He's very exposed in the main, even though the tank is covering a lot of it. If that tank gets blinked on and taken out, it doesn't have a second tank backing it up. Oh, his medevac micro is slick. Oh, not that slick. He actually loses it. He is playing America to Europe or Canada to Europe. Probably playing with about 100 ping right now. So understandable that he missed it. He's not going to be as perfect. And this tournament's going to be very important for him getting used to just getting used to playing over here. Oh, okay. Blink comes in. Stalker goes down. Okay, I think he's solid on the defense right now. I like that other tank's unsieged. The bunker usually is a pretty good anchor. This doesn't feel like a 4-gate blink, though. It feels like a 3-gate or 2-gate blink pressure. He does see that pylon behind it. Oh, he knows about the observer. He gets it. He does get it with the cyclone. That's real important. Auto turret harass comes down. Tank is not covering that bunker at the front, so he's going to have to be careful. That depot, sorry, I should say. Depot does go down. Auto turret harass is getting a little bit of damage. He's going to reposition these tanks here. One at the very far forward. It's exposed, but it's covered by other tanks, which I think makes it okay. He's focus firing probes, and he's going to send that Raven back. Oh, here we go. Okay, fourth gas is going to go down. He's finally got his stim on the way. Shields should be coming in the near future. Medevac production. And this is like the really simple setup you want as a Terran, right? 3 barracks, factory, starport, 4 gases. The problem is he's still building siege tanks. He hasn't swapped to Widow Mines, which it feels like he's going to have to do a giant tank push, because the more tanks you build, the more immobile your army is. And basically you could do one big scary push, but you're not going to be as flexible as a Widow Mine focused army. Okay, does force these Stalkers back. Going to start a third on location right now. Depot's going down. This looks like a pretty simple PVT, but I don't really know where he's at compared to MaxPax. It feels like MaxPax should have had that third up for a bit. I would imagine it's going to be Zealot Stalker mostly. That's a heavy Stalker count. They're microing pretty well, but those boosty zones help him. Oh no, it's Colossus! He did not know it's Colossus. I actually think the Colossus could have fought there. If he just focused the Marines, I think the Stalkers could have killed those siege tanks. But he realizes, wait, there's no Zealots there. Your army's kind of not as fast. Oh, careful, careful. He can't siege too close to the ledge. If he sieges too close to the ledge, he's going to lose his army. I think Byun's pretty screwed, man. Like, the tanks can get a nice volley off, but he's already lost all of his Marines. If MaxPax can get out 10 Zealots, I think he just wins this game. Because you lose this army and you're screwed. And yet, yeah, Byun's got to get out. If he can save these tanks and save them all, yeah, nice. I love that. He queues them up to click on that. Just before the Zealot flank comes in, he's like, get out of here with anything I can save, man. He's got 4th and 5th barracks building behind this. I do believe +1 attack is done. He should have +1 armor coming in, concussive coming in as well. And he's going to go into a defensive stance. If he loses those tanks, he's screwed. Keeping them alive gives him a good hope, because tanks are a decent answer to Colossus. Now, don't get me wrong. He's still building siege tanks, which means he's still not very flexible as a player. Oh, he lifts a double drop to save the main base. I like this. So using not only his rally point, but also a double drop to deal with this. Only loses 1 SCV. Immediately grabs an SCV and continues building the 5th barracks. Okay, Vikings going north. 3rd base is getting rather saturated. Okay, goodbye. Oh, wait. Does he get that recall on? I don't know if they kill that. I think it barely gets out of there. Protoss! Byun, even though he's not using a microphone, adds commentary in just for the benefit of the stream. Oh my god, the shade. This man, in the midst of a tournament semifinals, just typing Protoss in the chat, dude. This is why I love Byun. He is such a fun guy. Anyone out there, maybe some of you haven't really seen some of Byun in the less important tournaments. As long as he's not in a premier tournament on a stage, the man will be spamming question marks to Solar when they're playing. Whenever Solar makes a mistake, he taunts him. He'll be making his little joking comments about Protoss here or there when they abuse recall. There's a lot of fun maneuvers that this man likes to bring in on the mental game and for a bit of attitude. Goes hand in hand with that smile he's always got on his face. Now he actually sees down there the Warp Prism. He pulls back, figuring, okay, I'm probably not going to get the kill on that. But if I send the Vikings, then maybe they can get it. Third base is fully saturated. We should have the first ghost hitting the field now. I think he's got a couple maybe out. No, he doesn't. He really needs to make sure he builds ghosts. Sometimes Terrans have a few Marauders queued up on those tech lab barracks, and then they just like queue the ghosts. They don't realize, hey, you got to clear that queue before you do it, man. Yeah, Zealots get out, but at least the Prism is down. It's a big tank army. For those who don't know, if you get 5 siege tanks, they do 350 damage in a volley. Colossus has 350 life. Because of its armor, it won't die, but it'll be surviving with about 5 hit points. So if you get 6 siege tanks all shooting together in one big chunk, target the Colossus, you can one-shot a Colossus, which is massive. ZMP the Zealots, no, he just hides that ghost. He wants to keep the ghosts alive. This is a bit expensive for MaxPax. MaxPax does force the army back, but every time you kill Zealots like that, it makes your next push a bit stronger. Oh, the ambush disruptors. I think it was actually a disruptor he must have killed earlier. That's 4 Colossus as well. Now, this is really smart for MaxPax because Byun's issue right now is he can't push across the map very easily. He needs to be sieged to really be in fighting formation. So MaxPax should keep scaring him to siege up, pull back. Scare him to siege up, pull back. Zealot almost kills the tank there, doesn't quite get it. Raven is here. I don't know if he built Matrix. The Raven's very exposed. A Zealot goes down. Oh! Oh, you gotta watch out! Oh no, he rage quit! He rage quit! Instant rewind, guys. For those who don't know, these speedy zones around here, they actually speed up disruptor shots as well. And he just rage quits game 1. From typing Protoss in the chat to a rage quit. Oh no. All right, well, let's go into game 2 on Hecate and see what he can pull off. That was funny, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, Byun was pretty screwed. We're using a tank army like that, and the Protoss has you pinned on the defense. It's so hard to get across the map without the Zealots counterattacks swarming in, without more disruptor shots landing on you. Because your army is just kind of a siege, unsiege army. And I always say, if you're using a lot of siege tanks, or if you're using like a Liberator army, you always want to try and sneak like a double drop out, or a force, some sort of, I call it a, what did I used to call it? I used to call it like a distraction squad, or a problem squad. Basically, it's like, its whole job is to force your opponent to have to significantly react to it, so they can't have all their attention on just keeping your army pinned at home. Whereas in that game, MaxPax, you know, had Byun pinned completely. So Byun was like, oh, screw this, man. Now, he's going for an engineering bay block in game 2. Okay, I was wondering what was going on there. So he sent an SCV out. He's hiding it so the probe doesn't see it coming across. Oh, no, he's going for a second barracks proxy. What is this? Is some Marauder roll in? I think this might be Reaper into Marines at home and then Marauders out of a proxy to join up with it. There we go. Starting his barracks kind of late. He was just checking there that he had space to build both the building and the add-on. So he uses a depot because it's the same size as the add-on, engineering bay because it's the same size as the barracks, and it's cheaper. So you can already bring up the 125 mineral kind of placement at the engineering bay before you have the 150 minerals for that. Because he's only on 1 gas, yeah, this is looking like a Marauder build. It could be a 3 Reaper build technically, but I don't think that's a very good build. Oh, and he's going to go Marine first. Okay, yeah. So he's going to save all the gas just for the tech lab. So it's just going to be Marines from this side of the map and then Marauders from the other side. He's essentially looking, he's saying, oh, look, I'm doing a normal expand build. Now, he just canceled his orbital command center, or maybe he never even started it. So he wants to show the command center at the normal time. You might be wondering, well, how does he afford it at the normal time? It's because orbital costs 150 minerals. The barracks proxy costs 150 minerals. By skipping the orbital, he's able to start the command center at a normal time. So yes, he won't have mules. Yes, he's very all in. Yes, he needs to do massive damage as he accidentally loads 5 workers into his base. Where was that on purpose? We got to rewind a second there. What was that? What was the purpose of that, guys? 300 IQ or misclick? Oh, misplaces that. Unless he puts the gas guys in the command center to pop them out on the other side. Did he do that? Or is it a mistake? I think this is a misclick, guys. Oh, yeah, that's a misclick, guys. Oh, no. That was a misclick. Actually put a bunch of workers in and then popped them back out. A bit awkward there from Byun. Does start a Marauder on the other side. Concussive starts up as well. I don't think Byun's playing super clean right now compared to what I've seen. But this is also the nature of Byun. He is a man of extremely clean, refined play or extremely messy play, depending on the day. Now, he's actually gone Marine Reactor, which I find interesting. I guess it makes sense. If you're waiting for 5 Marines to join up with 3 Marauders, that works out. You can see right now, he's cutting SCVs still. And if he could, say, intercept the first adept with 3 Marines and kill it, and then join up on the other side, that'll be great. And, oh, it's actually really good that MaxPax is pressuring into this, I think. I think this is actually really good because MaxPax thinks he's the one who's on the offense. Now, you don't need to fight with the Marines just yet. Yeah, you got to bring SCVs to fight this. Good micro so far by Byun. Oh, very good micro. He's going to get rid of the Zealot. Nicely done. And the Adept does kill the SCV, but you don't want to be trading army for killing workers right now because Byun's already all in. He doesn't care about this economy. MaxPax doesn't know this. Byun has done an excellent job of hiding this all in. Oh, man. Ooh, okay. Did he just load SCVs into his command center again? If there's a reason for that, let me know. This looks like a panicky, weird misclick he's making. Those Marines are getting overwhelmed by the Adepts, or it's about an even fight in the middle. The Marauders are fighting the Probes. He wishes he could join the Marines up with this. He's going to take out the Pylon so that the battery gets depowered. He doesn't have enough money to make orbitals. He's got 2 command centers, but no friggin' mining on them. Oh my god, if he loses this game, he gets 0-2'd by MaxPax. He just loaded his SCVs in again. What is he doing with that micro? Okay, this is going to be really interesting to understand. Is Byun figured some stuff out? Marauders trying to do what they can. They are getting surrounded by the probes, though. He's taking big damage. So is MaxPax. The Marines are finally going to join the front. Marines are going to do pretty well at clearing these units. He will take out the Adepts. The Stalker's adding some nice damage from behind. He definitely, if he can tag that Stalker, then it would be really nice. He's not targeting it. MaxPax is very vulnerable right now with that Stalker. Oh, look at that. Oh, man. Lots of probes going down. This is pretty huge. This is actually really interesting. We've got Marines, Marauders still rallying to the front. No orbitals, no mules behind us. If he had mules, it'd be very different. I love his sub alert, him and Maru. He's just squeezing Maru's cheek. Yeah, that's such an adorable sub alert. I love it. We've got Marine Marauder hanging out here, joining up on the front right now. What can MaxPax get up in time? I think he's up in workers for sure. There is now double orbital dropping mules. So Byun's trying to make like a transition. MaxPax only has gateway units, but he should have a battery now. The Stalkers coming out there is so dangerous for MaxPax. That's actually, I think he thinks the pressure's over, but that means he doesn't have units with the battery. He loses that one before it even gets in battery healing. Oh, MaxPax caught with his pants down. Byun tricked him. Byun's like, oh, I'm totally not continuing this aggression. He has Blink? What the hell? MaxPax has Blink? I mean, I guess he was upgrading it before he realized he was being rushed. But Blink's not going to help you if you don't have any firepower. If he fought out front the shield battery and Blink back, maybe? That was always going to be tough. Well played there by Byun. Ties up the series 1-1. Alright guys, so I was trying to figure out what was happening in this game here with the loading into the orbital constantly. So I went and asked Byun, and I was like, dude, why do you do it in? And he said, oh, why do you pop in and out of command center with SCV? I don't understand. So I went and I linked him a little clip showing him actually doing it. And I said, you put SCVs in the command center. I'm confused why. And he says, big mistake. I thought it was an orbital. Me orbital, mule hotkey E, and put command hotkey E. So basically, because his command centers aren't orbitals, he just out of habit is pressing E to drop mules, even though they're not actually orbitals, they're command centers, but it's later in the game than you're used to having command centers. You're like, normally you immediately make them into orbitals. So he kept just accidentally pressing the E key and struggling because of that. So that was kind of hilarious there. I'm actually looking at the wrong game right now, aren't I? Okay, so this is the game we're looking for, right? My bad. Idiot. Okay, Byun also has one final word. I said, dude, this happened 4 times in this game. I thought this was a big brain move. He says, never know. I just started laughing, and he says, idiot brain. So, Byun, as always, having a good sense of humor. He basically kept hopping home, saying build SCV or call down mule he was trying to do. And then obviously he didn't have an orbital, so he loaded in and out of his command center multiple times. And I thought there might be a 300 IQ move, but it turns out we have, from the horse's mouth himself, idiot brain is the answer. Well, he still won the game despite doing it 4 times in this game. Byun's a friggin' legend. GG, well played, mate. Good on you. Good on you. All right, guys, going into game 3. It's tied up 1-1. Byun with some weird command center micro, just doing his thing. That was a very dirty all-in that he pulled out. Does he try something filthy again, or do we see a more chilled out normal build? You can see he's just setting up his camera locations there and just cycling through them, making sure they're all working correctly for his first 5 or 6 bases. We've got a barracks and a gas going up as well.
Not enough minerals.
Okay, more SCVs, barracks gas opening. This looks way more standard for Byun. Does he take a second gas? No, it's 1 minute and he hasn't started the second gas, which means this is going to be a 1-rax expand. Cool to see him going for a bit more of a straight up build. Notice he rallies the worker to the inside of the gas, lets the other 2 workers go onto it while the builder kind of hops off the refinery, because otherwise that refinery worker takes a while to get off the gas and then start mining it, and he kind of occupies it and blocks your other workers from mining. So Byun optimizing his opening very, very nicely. Orbital on the way, as well as a Marine, not a Reaper, guys. So he's going to go a Marine. That will give him a quicker factory or reactor. Marine only takes 18 seconds to build. A Reaper takes 32 seconds. Command Center goes down in 1:40. Very nice. I think we're going to see a reactor straight away. Yeah, it is going to be 3 Marines again. Now notice he hides the Marine because he says, look, if you run up this ramp, I might be able to kill you. But if I show you that Marine, I give away that you don't need to be worried about Reaper harass. So he doesn't want to give away any information right now. Dropping a mule on the high ground, and he's getting ready to place a second barracks. We're going to see a 3-rax opening most likely here for Byun. Notice he's pulled 1 worker off gas because this is a super mineral focused build. It's going to be all about 3 barracks pumping out Marines. It's going to add stim, shields. Probably have a pretty delayed +1. There's an old version that I still like to do that I got off Clem in 2018, actually. Copied him from, I think it was WCS Austin 2018. Clem's first big premier tournament where he played it, and I still use that old 3-rax that has a really fast engineering bay to this day. I think it's not bad, but the pros prefer to get a quicker factory up for the medevacs and also just have their opening have a little bit more money free to have constant SCV production, constant Marine production, which is fair enough. When you're playing against guys who are so good with their Adept harass, their Oracle harass potentially, it is a nice way to do it. Marines are there, hanging out at the front. Oh, okay. 2 Adepts coming in. Bit of a crazy move from MaxPax. If he can get the Adept, that'd be great. Couldn't quite finish it. So he almost kills an Adept. He only loses a Marine. I think that's a perfectly okay trade for Byun. And he will just keep hanging out here, dropping mules on this natural now. He doesn't want to show too many Marines, because then that gives away that he's 3-raxing. So notice the rest of his units will probably hide on the high ground. He only wants to show the Marines coming out of the reactor. And this obscures the fact that he's actually got extra barracks. Now, if that Adept Shade finishes, he's built his second barracks, or third barracks, sorry, too close to the ramp where the Adept could see it. But that's only if the Shade finishes, because the Shade itself only has 4 vision range, whereas an Adept has something like 7 or 8 vision, which is obviously, or sorry, 9 vision, I think maybe. Definitely something much higher. Adept still looking around, seeing what he can find. Now, we should be seeing extra gases in a factory soon, usually about 4:15, something like that. Okay, the Marine's here, still trying. He's got to raise that depot. You can't be letting the Adept figure out what the build is. Otherwise, MaxPax will be super ready for you. He's going to try and move out now, but I think the Adept's going to see it as he moves out. Stim and shields are almost finished. Factory goes down at 4:15, and he's going to go for a second or third gas in a moment. MaxPax gets a snipe there. He doesn't raise his wall either, so he kind of gives away what he's doing. Byun with a bit of an unforced error there. Notice he hops the SCV off the factory, knowing that's going to get targeted. The second and third gases are trying to go down. Marine going after this. Oh, he's pulling away the weak SCV, the multitasking. But oh my god, the Adept is being so annoying with its shading. Okay, he's still attacking at the same time. He's like, I cannot hold back. Loses a... I mean, that was great handling, but he just never should have let it in the first place. He made his life pretty difficult. Beyond showing that he can handle difficulty with ease, though. There's a third base there. Lots of Stalkers. Oh, attacking into Battery Blink. Not a good idea. He can maybe kill a pylon and then disengage. Notice he's not stimming yet, but now he's realizing, dude, I can't stand and fight here. He's trying to pull back the Marauder that was getting focused. He's got to kind of just run home because there's observers watching him. He's got to build a bunker. He's trying to get a starport and a 4th gas up, but those Stalkers are much more maneuverable than his units. His stims only last so long. He might have to stim. He's probably going to turn and try to fight in the grass, use the sight blocker, but there's an observer behind, and that observer will catch up, so he can't just dilly-dally. He's trying to use high ground wherever he can, but the observer will be here soon. And that will make up for that lack of high ground vision. Oh, he gets it. Good scan. Good scan. Getting rid of the observer. Now MaxPax doesn't know exactly where you are. So he can actually use the high ground a little bit better. He stims forward. Nice micro for Byun. Trying to start a step forward. MaxPax, he knows, has to just disengage whenever he's stimmed like this because his units are way more higher damage. Way more higher damage. Me speako good Anglando. Starport's going to go for the swappy swap there. Depot's going down on that natural. Marauders and Marines being pumped out, as well as the medevacs. Okay.
SPV gas.
This is a good one, man. Third command center on the high ground at 6 minutes. He's already got medevacs on the way, but he's got to be careful with his units because they're heavily damaged. So if MaxPax were, for instance, to do like a 2-gas, 8-gate Zealot Stalker attack, right now your units are wounded. You don't have any Widow Mines to handle the Zealots. Your medevacs haven't started healing. So you really want to preserve these units. However, because he wants to build his third on location, he's risking moving out, and he's saying, oh, hopefully the raw firepower of this much Marine Marauder scares those Stalkers away, and if there is an observer, hopefully he can scan it to get rid of it. You can see he's zooming his camera in and out. The reason he did that is because he's looking for the blur of the observer. He couldn't see it, so he didn't end up scanning. But whenever you see his camera kind of zoom in and out just a tiny bit, that's him trying to create the sort of angle change that allows the distortion of the cloaked observer to be a bit easier to see on his screen, which is very awesome to see him utilizing that. He does it again there. That's exactly what he was. He's looking for those observers. Uh-oh, there's a prism in his base. Oh, but he's got a few units and not that many zealots coming in right now, so I think he's okay. Ooh, almost loses a medevac. You can see he quickly selected the medevacs and pulled them away. Does almost get the prism damaged, but not too much. And it's a very low-tier army, a Mortal Zealot Stalker Sentry. So he's going to back away. He says, oh man, you're probably pretty ready to fight me. I don't want to fight this right now. Oh god. Zealots on the third base. He does have to pick up to get down there and defend it, but that means the prism can go back in the main base. Byun with his multitasking. He's so clean with all this. And there we go. He's going to drop. Notice he's hiding in the choke point where the Zealots can't really get surface area there. So that's actually really nice. The third base is in a bit of trouble. He's going to just run these units back. Notice he manually selected those units at the front because he didn't want to just select all army and pull the units from the main, but they weren't on separate control groups, so he moved up, he boxed his army, and then manually put it on a different control group and A-moved it south. Really good play. I also love that he's got a Viking now to stop that prism from continually coming in and hitting the main base. We're going to see a Ghost Academy as the next little step here, which is going to allow him to EMP Zealots and Archons and Sentries. But of course, he knows that Colossus will be on the way, so after he gets maybe 6 or 8 medevacs, he will no doubt start building Vikings as well. It could technically be Psystorm, but it's pretty unlikely, and it looks like he scans there. There's almost always an observer watching, and he does manage to catch one. Well done. Stalker Zealots hanging out in the front. MaxPax got Zealots running into the natural again, really trying to catch him off as much as he can. And Byun's like, man, trying to build depots, trying to just macro. His army's getting stronger, and as long as these trades are cost efficient for him, I think he's getting further ahead with each one of these trades, especially as these Widow Mines hang at the front. The one thing he hasn't invested in is the armory. It's kind of hard to get Ghosts, Vikings, and an armory at the same time. It's very expensive here. Usually the armory is just to make the Widow Mines invisible. It's not really to start +2 attack in this matchup. Byun's playing a much more standard 1-1 Bio Ghost Viking style, and I love it. He anticipates the Zealot run by on the south, cleans it up, and this is the way you want to do it, because you know Protoss always wants to counterattack with these Zealots, these melee units. He's got Widow Mines on the right, he clears up the south, and only now, after being very careful, does he push forward. Oh gosh! Oh no! Okay, he hot pick up. Oh no, he loses the full medevac. I said he was very careful against the counterattacks. He was not very careful against the frontal push. He gets punished. Force fields, a bunch of bio and a medevac going down. MaxPax, though, not watching his Stalkers for a moment, and you can see how quick those Stalkers die to the Marauders. He's going to pick up and go for the famous Byun drop. So the Byun drop is when you're in a position where no one else would dare pick up, but he has this sixth sense for when he knows his opponent's backed away with their army and just assumes he's not going to be crazy enough to do that. So right now, MaxPax is no doubt just scouting the front and then going, what? How did your army get there? What the hell? What kind of a crazy person picks up their whole army and flies north when at any point there it could technically get spotted by an observer or blinked on by Stalkers? The thing is, Byun is so good at noticing if that's going to happen. He's so good at spotting the observers, he's almost never surprised by it. And that's why more often than not, this, what appears to be a risky maneuver, pays off. Zealots hitting him on all sides. But once again, he's left plenty of units at home. He did just lose his 4th command center without canceling it, though. That was the one sloppy move. But he handled everything else with poise. The Warp Prism goes up, and he's got that quintuple drop, a 5 medevac drop going towards the main base. Viking count starting to grow, as you can see. The 4th command center is building. He's almost maxed out, and he is going for 2nd engineering bay and armory now. Oh, he's going to go into the back of the main base. Here we go. Big doom drop. There is a cannon and a battery building, but only the cannon's finished so far. He's actually not in range of much stuff, though, and that's why it's really dangerous to continue here. Good split on the army from MaxPax. This is kind of dangerous to hang here, especially now that the Colossus starts hitting him from afar. It's, oh, his 4th command center. Oh no, his 4th command center. The Colossus and the Stalkers there will pick away at him eventually, but it looks like he was lucky enough. His Marauders tanked most of the damage, not the Marines. and his 4th command center survives. He trades out, taking a few zealots and pylons out in the main. He's going to go 8 barracks, and you can see he selected his upgrades there. He started his 2-2, and he probably wants to go for ship weapons in the near future, though I don't think he can afford it just yet. Struggling to stay maxed out. And of course he wants to keep MaxPax off a 4th base, but we know at this point, after he denied this, MaxPax immediately took the 4th on the other side, and he has indeed scouted a pylon there. So Byun's well aware of this. His main army is probably going to push that left side while he keeps dropping in the top. It's really good multi-prong by Byun. Just the smoothness with which he controls these multi-prong armies. Oh, that's enough Stalkers to kill a medevac, so he's got to get out of there. These Zealots are just incessant, aren't they? This is why I feel like splitting a squad of Bio to just clear up this south side of the map and just wander around the edges looking for Zealots is probably a good value deal, but he kind of does this. Push forward, pull back. Push forward, pull back. He kind of pushes forward, shows the threatening attack, baits the Protoss to sending their Zealot run-bys in, and then he pulls back and cleans them all up. Fantastic. Baiting his opponent into plays that he's already preparing to clean up. And that's how he gains value. If you look at the units lost tab in a game like this, it's insanely good for him. Oh, he goes for the YOLO drop. He does lose a few units in a medevac, but he will take out at least 1 or 2 Stalkers in return. So it's not too bad a trade. Zealots coming on the south again. The Widow Mines keep getting crazy value, man. His rally points there. Keeps cleaning these Zealots up. His drop coming back as well. He's going to lose a few of those units. Does EMP and kill a couple Stalkers. I feel like that EMP radius change is so good, man. It's still a good AoE spell. It's well worth getting. Just nowhere near that crazy lethality that he used to have with that giant splash. Man, once again, the army was right there, and he's flying right past where the Protoss army was. The famous Byun drops, just no Fs given. God tier killer instinct, or just a complete disregard for his soldiers' lives. You tell me. I feel like it's 50-50, honestly, when I watch Byun play. Building more command centers behind it. He does want to trade sooner rather than later, because no doubt MaxPax is into double forge upgrades. No doubt going mass disruptor. Okay, we're going to lose one of those medevacs pretty quickly, but actually, if they don't focus fire, maybe not. Oh man, get some EMPs. He's got to get out, though. Not having boost does hurt. He's going to try and drop on the low ground, potentially. His other army on this side, catching a mostly Zealot Stalker army. It's only 2 disruptors. Once he gets rid of the second disruptor shot, he can get in there. Good pullback, no speedy zone this time. And a robo on the front, very exposed for MaxPax. Building a robo on the front, super dangerous. Pays a big price for it. On the other hand, the Nexus does survive, as he knows he can't fight the whole army with this. I think Byun should attack the north with the other part of his army. Planetary is there. He's building more command centers, realizing this game's dragging on longer than I want it to. But you know what? I've been pretty efficient. Why not? And he's looking ready to flank the enemy. Starting his 3-3 as well as his +2 ship weapons right now. His whole army's clumping a bit much, though. He definitely wants the northern side to come in from the other side so he can get a proper Sanger on. Sanger, Australian for sandwich, a term I never grew up with yet. I've adopted in the last years because it does. I thought it was dumb the first time I heard it. And then it just rolls off the tongue once you get used to it. It's lovely. Disruptors. Oh my god, he runs in and just focuses the disruptors and a Colossus down. Oh, balls to the wall. Absolute mad dog. Byun just no Fs given. And guess what? He's got a good Viking count, good bio count. His upgrades are good at 2-2 now. The Colossus aren't doing much. The disruptors are all empty. It's mostly Stalker, Zealot, Immortal. Those Colossus with battery overcharge do pretty well, though. MaxPax actually focused down Byun's Vikings. Really nice. You know, the one thing you got to feel good about here is Byun, even though MaxPax is kind of like actually holding on quite well, is you've got a 5th. You've got extra command centers. So you've got the ability to keep mining and trading like this longer than he does, number one. Number two, MaxPax is famous for not building extra robos, playing on 1 or 2 robos all game. We know we've killed one of the robos. He's at most on 2 robos right now. So he can't produce those disruptors and colossi very quickly. Every time you get a fight like that last one, you're remaxed a minute later. MaxPax probably is not. Or if he is, it's on Zealots and Stalkers, not on the units that you're actually afraid of. MaxPax does have a 5th base on the bottom. I'd like to see him try to get forward and take that one out. Army on the top, trading really well against Zealot Stalker. You can see the way he's trying to monitor both armies and figure out when should he commit, when should he get out. He's going to try and pick up and get out, and he gets that one into the main. While that's unloading in the main, he swaps to focusing on the ground army, which he quickly scampers away with after taking a few losses there. But the army in the main base, he's going to focus down a Forge, which is a very good choice. Widow Mine's clearing the Zealots. He's being really annoying with the multi-prog. MaxPax has got to wish he had like a Void Ray or something on this northern side of the map, because this drop angle just keeps getting abused, and MaxPax cannot deal with it. Byun's multitasking, his split-ups on his army are great. He even saves a few units and a bunch of the medevacs at the end of the day. He also finds 2 of MaxPax's empty balls out there in open land. No more disruptors behind this. It's mostly Stalker Zealots, 1 Immortal, 1 Colossus. The Vikings start a step, the Liberator siege up, the Bio coming in. An EMP on that army could be great. Doesn't manage to land it just yet, though. He's got to start a step back and forth. Those medevacs get caught. That does hurt. You can see him quickly drag his screen up there, try to tell those medevacs to go around the right side of the map. Extra orbitals are on the way. He's going to put guys on gas. Byun does need to pay attention to his economy. But you'll notice he does it in these tiny dribs and drabs whenever a fight settles down. He kind of goes, transfer workers, make orbitals, make upgrades, and then he just goes back to, harassment, army, splits, micro. This is what you want to do as a Terran. 90% of your focus in the later stages is micro, and just occasional little bursts of macro. But, oh, he split his army accidentally. That was derpy. I don't think he has lib range yet either. Does get a good Widow Mine shot there, but oh, the Disruptor gets 4 Widow Mines. MaxPax has a good forward position now. He's still on 5 bases. I think the Liberator harass might not have sieged far enough forward as well. I'm not quite sure. Good spready. Gets a Disruptor. Almost gets a second one there. But the Disruptors are keeping him back for now. And oh, the DTs! Okay, there's DTs, at least 1 in his base right now. He's got to keep this army back. MaxPax is really putting the pressure on right now. Byun's on 180 supply. He does clean up the Dark Templar. Remember, he's got a lot of orbitals, so he should be okay on the scans. He quickly unsieges. He's using rapid fire to siege those Liberators up in a nice spready as best he can. What a game this has turned into after an exciting series. Holy crudsicles. Oh god, that's a big Protoss force. There's not that many Disruptors in the mix. The first Disruptor lands a pretty good shot. MaxPax unable to fight in Liberator zones, though. It looks like Liberator range has now finished. And with Liberator range, and I think he's got +2 as well, those Libs are going to be something very scary. I really want to see him adjust that Liberator on the left, guys. You can see it's just sitting in the dead space, and I think he could do more with it. He does get rid of an Observer. That's a very important Observer snipe. Can't be letting MaxPax get vision for free. The Bio does stim there. He's looking for the engage, but he's got to pull back against the Disruptor shots. They are punishing him. Good micro for MaxPax. Causing a lot of problems for Byun right now. He's sitting on 170 supply. He can't seem to max out. It's not like it's free. The Liberators are making this an expensive move. This time he finally cuts off the rotate before MaxPax gets in position. And that's the key thing. He's also building a sensor tower. That Liberator is actually denying mining. And without a Stargate, MaxPax literally has no way to dislodge it. So that's actually an amazing Liberator harass on this map. Some of the maps have really good Liberator spots on some of the edge bases. And basically, Protoss has to build a Stargate and get like a Void Ray or a Phoenix to deal with it. Otherwise, it will just keep doing it. Liberator Bio doing what they can. Liberator's going to try to siege down the bottom side. He's got to stop this army rotating. There's only 1 Disruptor left in the back, though. MaxPax, as good as he's been with his movement, he needs more Disruptors to really make this work. And MaxPax... Oh no! Oh no! Byun's going to lose a planetary. I think it's a little too slow on his mass repair. Or is it? Actually, it's not that many DTs. It's not that many DTs! Oh, damn. MaxPax went in too early. I think he only had like 8 or 9 DTs. Maybe even only 6 or 7, potentially. Because if that was 10 Dark Templar with the speed Byun reacted, it wasn't bad, but I don't think it was fast enough. And another bunch of DTs gets caught. Oh, that's a huge turning point. Because remember what I said, he doesn't have many Disruptors. MaxPax doesn't have the balls to back up this army. And if you can now split him up and fight the Zealots in small chunks away from the Colossi, uh-oh. Well, he's getting jumped on there. He's got to be careful. He turns to try to kill some Stalkers. The Disruptors chase him off, jumping home here. Did he just re-add his production to his control group? Feels like he did. I think maybe he messed up his control groups or something before that. But he just went back and in like a split second added barracks and starports to his control group. So good on him. He's going to go for the crazy Doom drop again. He says, hey, I haven't had much success in the last 2 minutes. What's the difference? Well, I haven't been doing those Doom drops. He flew right past the army, but MaxPax didn't notice it. MaxPax is down here, focused on the bottom. This is mostly Libs, almost no actual army. This army sucks at home right now. If MaxPax shoves in, Byun could be in the doo-doo. However, he can make a base trade happen. EMPs on the Stalkers. It's only a small army for Protoss. Oh, that's a nasty area to fight, but there's no Zealots. Maybe we can overwhelm just with EMP and Marauders. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's a close fight. Can we get the Colossus? If he can get both Colossi, that'll be massive. And he gets them. Oh, damn. Pure Stalker Colossus armies are not really made for straight up fighting. It's more of a maneuvering composition, but you need some support for those units, some Immortals or some Archons or something in the mix. Probably not Archons because EMP has been fantastic for Byun. I think Byun's back in the lead now. Problem is, he's got an orbital on that top right base. You get in there with a DT, a few Zealots, anything like that's going to severely disrupt his mining. But MaxPax, I believe, is still stuck on the initial 5 bases. The fact that Byun has a 6th, and he was definitely trading better in the earlier stages, that army doesn't look too fearsome anymore. There's only like 8 Stalkers. They can't even one-shot a Liberator at this point, which means he can scare back MaxPax. Look at that Liberator micro. He's like sieging and unsieging, and he's creating this oppressive line of forward units. He's going to take out the battery overcharge. The Liberators realize they're getting flanked by the Stalkers, so they're going to pull back to the the other side to try to zone out those Liberators. EMP's landing. Remember, EMP plus one-shot ability with the +2 on those libs is absolutely monstrous. If he cuts off this base, he can then move south and cut off the next one. I mean, MaxPax does not want to give up control of this area. MaxPax has been fighting like a beast this whole time, but Byun with his maneuvering has been on point. He's going to go for the YOLO! The YOLO! Oh, he picks up his whole army, unsieges the libs, moves in and says, now I'm sieged on your production. How do you like them apples? And much like a bogan out of Boston, MaxPax has to tap out. Byun gets the victory, doesn't rewind, straight to the score screen, says, let's go to the grand finals. GG, well played. Byun, what a monster.